Alexis. How are you doing?
I'm doing actually pretty good today. It's been a crazy cycle, but today I feel pretty good. How are you?
Uh, I am so ready to just lay in bed and not do anything. I feel like these past few weeks I've been always looking forward to bedtime. Even when I have like really anxious dreams, like I actually had like a really scary dream this morning or last night, but I'm still like like nightmares or anxious dreams, they like it takes a lot to get me to like be afraid of going to sleep because I'm just like, sometimes I want to go to sleep and I'm like, I want to know more. Like, is this
Right.
really serious or was this just like a one-off thing? What's going on here? Give me some more insight. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to bedtime. It's been a lot. So, tonight we're going to be talking about our dark moon dream reflections as we do monthly. And this one is really interesting because we are having two new moons in a row, which is it's a whole thing. And so it might seem that we're having a little bit of deja vu, like a deja vu moment here, in reference to the energy. And as pretty much all of you listening or watching this know that we are just coming out of eclipse season. And this eclipse season for most of us was pretty savage. I'm really happy to be on the other side. As I mentioned, there was some epic things going on, and definitely I would say connected to my dream space. So I might share a little bit of that here. But yeah, so we had or basically this dark moon dream reflection is starts basically from August 23rd to September 21st. Um, and so that was when, yeah, we had that second new moon in Virgo occur. So, Alexis, you good over there? You choking like water went down the wrong pipe? So Alexis is trying to clear her throat. So I'm just gonna I'll just share like a little bit about the Virgo new moon. So the first Virgo new moon we had on August 23rd was considered to be a black moon, not just, and to me, like the new moon is a black moon or a dark moon, but essentially the black moon in reference to astrology or astronomy is it's the second new moon in one calendar month, similar to what we know as the blue moon. So I thought that was really interesting that was a black moon. And then it's followed by a second moon in Virgo. So you have like the astronomy and the astrology coming together as one. And what I've really been resonating with is this concept or theory of like a course correction. And so we know Virgo is really good at refinement, perfection or perfecting, cleansing, all of those things. And so I don't know about you guys, but pretty much my whole entire eclipse portal basically was um cords like being cut, really significant endings happening in my life, and I'll share one of those here in a bit. And so yeah, I see with this new moon that happened on September 21st, so that was a solar eclipse, and it's really interesting because it's like we ended Virgo's lunar cycle, at least the first one, with an eclipse. So it doesn't even feel like it's ending. And I'm like, a part of me gets a little nervous because I'm like, are we really like, I feel that the eclipse season is still kind of lingering a little bit. Like things aren't as intense, thank goddess, but we're in this process of having like an actual Virgo lunar cycle. So this is like Virgo lunar cycle part 2 that we're starting. Um yeah, so do you have any thoughts on that,
First of all,
Alexis?
thank you for holding down the fort for a second. I
Oh, so
so
good.
speaking of um portal eclipse experiences, it was definitely crazy, but I also got sick during that.
Mhm.
So, I still have a lingering cough, which hits randomly. Like all of the sudden, I'm just down and out coughing my freaking lungs out. And so you caught me there.
Oh, wait, so
Conveniently,
you didn't
no,
choke on water
I
or
just
anything?
had to, I was just like, keep going. Like, I didn't want you to think I was like dying, but I was
Yeah.
in an absolute coughing fit. Like, it sounded
Oh no.
horrible, but I'm good.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
on, I'm pretty much completely done from being sick, but there's just
Hmm.
that lingering annoying cough. But
Yeah.
anyway, my portal eclipse, crazy, weird, ups and downs. I got sick and I'm almost healed from that. And yeah, cord cutting for myself as well. And now on the other side of it, I feel such a release. Like I feel like weight off my shoulders. I did a ritual for Maybon Eve the day before the autumn equinox. And when I woke up the next day, I just felt like complete energy change, which is inevitable with the um, season change, but within myself too. So
Yeah.
I'm entering into this season kind of like free from things that have been trailing with me for a while.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that. I felt that today. And I'll probably share, I'm gonna actually note it here. The dream that I had this morning is in the news cycle. So I'm gonna make sure I make a note to possibly share that dream next Dark Moon Dream Reflections. And it was a bit of a like almost a nightmare. So it's actually kind of hard for me to talk. Like I didn't even tell you, Alexis, and like, yeah, we've been busy and we didn't really talk really at all today. Um, but it's like I woke up from the dream and fear. And also it's funny because it was like an annoyance type feeling too. Like I was afraid and then I was annoyed by the dream because it had to do with health. And that's definitely my trigger for nightmares. And also, but it's so beautifully aligned with Virgo. And I just sent out a newsletter to, or like a lunar dream forecast to Dreamigos premium members. And I was talking about how, oh, you might have dreams that, speak to your daily routines or like health and wellness and so forth. Like, the archetypal qualities or symbols of Virgo. And it's like, it reminds me of when I used to do cosmic climate. It's like every time I like speak about this energy, then it comes to fruition. And so I'm having a whole thing about that, like a mental thing about that, where I'm just like, do I want to do this? So
Right.
anyway, but despite all of that, as the dream kind of followed me into my day, I noticed like I'm so over like my fears and my anxieties that I was like, you know what? Like I'm just gonna face this fear. And like I was very strong about it. So supposed to follow through today. I'm gonna like follow through tomorrow. But anyway, the point of sharing that is that I do resonate with what you said, Alexis, where it's just like I feel different, like something major shifted, which is what tends to happen with these eclipses if you are paying attention, especially paying attention to your dreams and willing to confront those, anxieties or whatever the pain points that come up, or even the good things, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
some of us can be afraid of success and it could be like we're self-sabotaging
Hi,
because
me.
of we're just like, this is the only way this is gonna happen anyways. And so yeah, when you really kind of meet that energy where it is and you're courageous with it and you follow the guidance, then you're gonna be different, you're gonna transform. And so that's why I'm kind of grateful for the eclipse seasons, even though they can be pretty intense and confrontational.
They have
It's
to be.
like it's the needed change, right?
Yeah,
It's like move or
it's
be moved.
necessary.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, I feel like a lot of things came to my attention this portal eclipse season. Things that were really like damaging me more than I thought they would, like more than I thought they were. And I didn't realize how heavy they were until I did everything I needed to do to move forward. And just like how heavy everything felt when I was carrying it with me. And when I think about like my path, like I usually think about like doors, and in between doors are the void. So it's basically like, think like a row of doors in outer space. And, you know, I can visualize my path and I can usually determine where I am. An aspect of my path, though, is being like halfway between doors, but with a chain on my ankle holding me to the last one. So even though I closed that door, there's still something holding me back. So I felt like this was something that I had been neglecting and ignoring. And when I actually released myself from it, I could hear the door close fully. And now I'm moving towards a new threshold, and it just feels better. And I love autumn. This is like my favorite time of the year. This fall and winter are my favorite times. And just everything going on. I just feel like, I don't know, I'm very optimistic and happy right now, which
That's good.
has not been consistent for a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I feel that. That's great. So yeah, what we're going to be doing tonight as our dark moon dream reflections, we are going to do what we just have been doing and reflecting on our dream space over the past lunar cycle. So then we'll touch a little bit more on just what to expect for Virgo lunar cycle, because this is Virgo lunar cycle part 2, which happens sometimes. It happens pretty much every like year and a half, I would say. Like it kind of does that thing where, yeah, we'll have 2 in a row. And it'll be interesting because, yeah, we're in Libra solar season, like solar cycle or Libra season, but we're still in uh Virgo lunar cycle. So it
Yep.
seems like it's like, yeah. And so I might talk a little bit about that and how how to just like use that energy in reference to your dream space, because to me it feels like, I feel like the solar seasons represent like our conscious realm or like waking life at times, and of course we know the lunar cycle is more tied to our inner world and our dream space. So it's interesting when there seem to be like out of sync, or what they should be normally. Like we should
Right.
be technically Libra moon cycle and Libra sun cycle, but now it has changed a bit. And so there's a lot here, but we're going to talk about that. We're also going to share some dreams tonight, or a dream from each of us, and just how that has like how everything has flowed over this lunar cycle. Then we're going to wrap it up with an oracle message and a tarot message, which is our favorite. Um, so yeah, do you want to share really quickly just what we have going on with Dreamigos coming
Yeah,
up?
absolutely. So, Urania and I work with a developing dream app called Dreamigos. That's Dreamigos. You can find this on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. It is a wonderful app where you can record your dreams in multiple ways and keep them private, or you can share them to something we call the Dreamline, which is like a public community dreamline of other people's dreams. And if you do that, you have an opportunity to have your dream decoded, get guidance from one of the dream experts like Urania and I. And if you do so, if you download the app and sign up today, then you'll have access to the monthly dream circles. They are free. And this next one we have coming up is going to be September 30th at 8 p.m. And it's going to be hosted by myself and one of the other dream experts, Andrea Morrison. So if you haven't already, go download the app, and we hope to see you there.
Yay, awesome. I'm really excited. Alexis keeps forgetting to mention the most important part, that is lucid dreaming, which is, I don't know, I feel like it's everyone's like fascinated and curious about the topic. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm really, really excited to hear what you guys have to share, because like now I don't have lucid dreams. Well, I feel like I'm more conscious in my dreams. I haven't really had the full-on lucidity in a while, and I think it's because I am just so busy in my waking life. But the next day, like when I'm thinking about my dreams, I'm like, oh yeah, I was conscious in that dream because something happened where I remembered something from my waking life in the dream. So it was kind of like a aha moment outside the dream. So I'm really excited, because I'm sure that I'm going to have some lucid dream experiences after being in the circle, hopefully.
You always do. And you might even have one before the circle
Right,
day.
that's what I was
I
gonna
feel like
say.
when we start talking about it, it ends up appearing.
Right? Yeah. So, before we share our individual experiences, I just want to share really quickly what you might expect for Virgo lunar cycles in reference to your dreams. So, over the next 28 days, you may experience reveals hidden, or your dreams may reveal hidden anxieties or perfectionist tendencies, showing where self criticism needs to soften into self compassion. You also may experience in your dreams that they offer symbols of healing, such as herbs, water, medicine making, or acts of service, or any kind of like holistic or kind of like earth type, or earth, or I want to say sensual, but maybe even like tactical type of like not, I want to say bodily, but basically, sorry, I am rambling. I should have grounded myself, but basically some sort of hands-on healing is what I'm getting with, because Virgo's really good with like body work and medicine making and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
your dreams might be a little bit more sensational. You might really feel like the things physically in your dreams, like you might be body sensitive. Also, the dreams may carry a problem solving quality, where the unconscious mind organizes details, patterns, or daily concerns into some clarity, into meaningful clarity for you. So yeah, again, this is like the second round of this Virgo lunar cycle. And I just feel like Virgo's like, okay, like we cleared and cleansed everything in the first round, we cut the cords. And now in the second round, we're going to kind of almost like tie in these loose ends, right? Like I'm thinking of if you're like creating or weaving a tapestry, it's like, you're just nicely, sealing everything or weaving everything together is what I'm getting with that. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to what this season will bring.
Absolutely. I also feel like it'll be like testing what you decided to like
Yeah. Oh gosh.
change. So it's going to test what you decided to change.
Yeah.
So if you're, like these some things might be brought to the surface and you'll have to deal with them and kind of stay concreted in your um consistency.
Yeah.
Like
Like it
I'm going
almost,
to stop doing this, and that thing will come up and be like, do this thing, and you're like, no, I said I was gonna not do that, so I'm not gonna do that.
yeah.
But you can fall easily into doing it again because it's hard to break a habit. So
Yeah.
this
And
is
I
gonna
love
be
that
a
you
test.
said habits, because that is definitely when I think about Virgo, I think about, yeah, like our habits, our daily routines, even just what we do consistently. And this is a time where we really are guided to break those habits. And I feel with that solar eclipse that we had, that will really be supportive. Just initiating that, like finally we're done. Like the cord has been cut, it's been severed, and we're gonna do things the like proper way, so to speak. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like proper is definitely a Virgo
Yeah.
term for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
So
feel like when you say proper too, I feel like what's like correct for our path right now.
yeah,
It's like the thing that's going to benefit you the most on your path from here on out.
yeah. So that's kind of like that course correction where it's like, actually, with certain things that have shifted, it's like we are being like reoriented
Yes.
on this path, right? Like if there's many different paths or like timelines and reality, and it's like for those of us who have like really decided and we're ready to make that change, as like we have energetically made that change and we were placed on that path. So now we're kind of like in the in between, in a sense where it's just like we have to finally just start being that person that's on that path. And I do feel that our dream space will illuminate what we still need to correct, what still needs to be
For
um
sure.
yeah, worked on. And then also there's definitely going to be some praise of, you know, of like what we've been doing correctly, or just like those really nice, beautiful aha moments in the dream space.
Absolutely. And reorient was such a great word to use for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Like
definitely.
I feel that the most, the reorientation.
Hmm. So how has your dream space been since August 23rd?
My space has been interesting, I have to say. I want to say that the the theme that came up the most was unfamiliar places or unfamiliar people and familiar but unfamiliar places. So if I'm at a lot of where the locations where I was popping up within my dream space felt vaguely similar to houses I've been in, maybe even a multiple morphed, but then also completely unfamiliar at the same time. Like, and I don't really know how to explain that because that's, you know, if it's usually either one or the other, but when you're in a dream, the like laws of existence are completely different. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, very interesting lessons coming through, a lot of work stuff coming through,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of reflection on relationships, and it's been very interesting, I have to say. Like before I sat down today and like went through the dreams, because I went through our Instagram chats, because that's where we tend to send our voice messages of our dreams. So I went through and I collected about one, two, three, four, five. I collected five dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that, and I have more that recently happened, but I didn't realize that I had had that many dreams. It's like I'm pretty good at remembering if I have a cycle filled with dreams. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that just with the eclipses being so intense
Mm-hmm.
and just everything happening, and then me getting sick as well, I just didn't remember that I had as many dreams as I had. What about you? How has your dream space been?
So I'm like looking at my dream diary now, because again, everything, I'm still on the electronic dream diary, and I my theme was not writing my dreams down. I have like I started out strong, and I'll say a part of it has to do with like my cycle. I know that when I'm in, like, generally, as like I'm on the second part, towards the end of my period up until like my luteal phase, and I start to have really intense dreams. Like when it comes to my luteal, probably like a couple days into the luteal phase, I would say like 5 days or so.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I don't write my dreams. I'm really tired. And I'll also say that my daughter started school too in this period. And so my whole sleep schedule is kind of funky. So I don't really like have the time. I mean, I can make the time, but generally I don't feel that I have the time to like wake up and write my dream, then get her up, and to do all that. So that also takes part in like, oh, I think I only have like maybe like three dreams here, three or four, and two of them were in like one, night. So yeah, but I remember at the beginning of this lunar cycle, I had some really profound dreams. There was one dream I'm looking at that was, there were a few times I was in, there were UFOs, but it was like my specific UFO. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
was the day I had two dreams and I wrote both of them, because it was like the UFO kind of carried from one dream to the next. And I remember that was a dream I was gonna share. It was really profound. And but honestly, there's been so much going on that even to think about that dream, like I haven't had any time to like really be back in the energy of that dream. So it's really hard to
Yeah.
connect with. All the dreams I'm looking at, they've been really hard to reconnect with. And I
Mm-hmm.
know it's because I have like so much going on right now. So, yeah, it was a really busy lunar cycle. And I'll tell you, my dreams were just as busy, but I
Mhm.
just didn't have the motivation or inspiration to write. I wanted to write them, but I just didn't like have the devotion and time to write them. So
Right.
it happens.
I mean, it's it's always a bummer when it happens, but it's a part of our cycle. Like humans are cyclical creatures. It's not always going to be the same. It's not always going to be perfect. We're not always going to be able to keep up with everything. I mean, for me, keeping up with writing down my dreams is like one of the most difficult things I can do. That's why I like sending the voice messages, because then I can go and kind of like take notes of what happened then when I'm starting to gather them all up for, our monthly dream talk about the cycle. But I and it's so bad, but I really want to try to create a ritual, and I know I've been saying this, and I know I have been failing at starting it, but it's building and building and building in me to like recreate a ritual where I can like find energy and time to energy and intention to get up earlier and sit in my dreams. But like you said, so much has been happening. I'm so exhausted as well, and I just, if I'm being totally honest, getting myself up 10 minutes before I have to go to work is hard. Like I'm so tired anymore that even though I know that it's important, I just cannot get myself to commit. So maybe that's
Yeah.
something that this season will open up
Well,
because
and also, like you said, we have you do really enjoy when we leave the voice notes, and so it's easier to um just drop it there. And so, I mean, maybe I know you do this sometimes where you do record, like not for me, but just for yourself, like you would record it on audio, like sometimes. So maybe that would be helpful if you just have your own specific, so that you can get up and say whatever you need to say. That would be like just a nice option too, to like get back into. That might be more helpful. And I think I might
yeah,
try that too.
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
have to say too, sometimes what I do is I take the recordings that I send you and I open up Dreamigos and I click the audio to text, and then
Mm.
I just press play on what I sent you and have it like type it up.
Oh,
Because
nice.
sometimes, especially with long messages, sometimes it doesn't transcribe. So like I'm like, all right, well, I'll just do it on Dreamigos and have the dream there. Because for some reason, writing things down sometimes is like pulling teeth. It's
Well,
crazy.
especially in the morning, like you have to like really
Yes.
be committed to sitting down, and especially I know you're probably similar, but for me it's hard to like skip details, because if you're writing it down and say you have to go to work or I got to take my daughter to school, I know that I can't sit here and dedicate an hour. So I have to be selective about what I do include. And then, and that's why I like doing it digitally, because I can go back to, I never go back to it, but I know it's an option. But that's also what I started doing. Like I was looking at just the last few dreams that I did record, and they were incomplete, and that kind of annoyed me. I'm just like literally there was a sentence: the crocodile and the piranha were huge, and I
I've
just
done
didn't
that
write.
too in my
And it's just
journals,
like,
and
and
I
I'm like, oh, I'm
always
gonna come
kick
back to it, or I'm
myself.
gonna remember. And it's like, that was on September 9th. It is now September 24th. I do
That's so
not remember
funny.
the rest of it.
The dream I'm sharing is from September 9th. That's so funny.
Really. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. Okay,
I'm
yes,
sharing. Oh, I'm
let's
sorry.
hear it.
Okay, so I'm sharing two dreams. They were both pretty short. So it's so funny you mentioned the UFO dream that you had, because I am sharing a dream with aliens. And it's
Nice.
so funny because, like, I was so excited when I woke up from that dream that I had an alien dream, and I had one that I was able to tell you because I know how like interested you are in those types of
Yeah.
dreams. So I woke up, I got on the Instagram and I was like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I have to tell you this dream. It was about aliens. But that's just like our Aquarius is clicking
Oh,
right
I know.
there. But it's funny that you mentioned the UFOs, because I forgot that you had mentioned that you had a dream about UFO. So, but the first dream I'm going to share was from September 9th. So this was a really interesting dream. This was an example of one of the houses. So I was in a some unfamiliar person's home, and we were spending time with them. We were in the dining room, and the house was a combination of multiple houses that I can kind of like pick out in my memory that I'm familiar with, but then also it felt very unfamiliar, like I had never been there. And that's where those contradicting feelings come through. And it's really interesting when within the dream space you have things that shouldn't go together and don't really go together in the waking space, go together in the dreaming space. But we were all hanging out, and then all of a sudden, it was, I believe it was um a mother, a father, so two adults and one child, and the we were all hanging out in the dining room, and all of the sudden the energy shift, you could feel it, the energy completely shifted, and the looks on these people's face was terrified, like worried, terrified, anxious. And they looked at me and the people I was with and were like, hey, look, you need to go upstairs and hide. There are beings within the house. They are expecting us to be here, but they're not expecting you to be here. So you need to go and you need to hide. And you could feel them, but you couldn't see them. Like that was something that was really unique about these aliens, is that they didn't have a visual presence. They had just a energy presence. And so I ran upstairs. It was a very narrow house, very messy, kind of like not dirty, but just like cluttered everywhere. And it felt a little claustrophobic. And, you know, that doesn't affect me too much within my dream space because I myself am not claustrophobic. But I feel like if someone else had this dream, they might feel very uncomfortable and anxious within just the spaces of traveling through the house. So I go upstairs. I'm kind of like trying not to trip over clothes and random items. And I go into this one bedroom and I can't close the door all the way. Like I can get it halfway. And I'm like, okay, well, this is gonna have to do. And I kind of like get behind it a little bit. And there was just clothes everywhere. I was kind of looking at the space around me in the bedroom. And I look outside and it's just like a body of water. I really couldn't tell if it was the ocean or a lake because it went like there was just a vastness to it. And as I'm like looking out the window, like I'm not getting close to the window, it's not getting close to me, but it almost is like my essence is leaving the room and I'm outside and I can feel like the crisp air and it's just like peaceful and also a little eerie and just kind of like liminal. And then I wake up.
Mm. Yeah, I remember you telling me, but I don't remember. This is funny. It's like I'm hearing the dream all over again, like for the first time.
I don't know
But
if I went into all the detail. I think
yeah,
I told
I
you
don't
like
think
the
you,
basis of it.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's like I always feel like you travel in your dreams and like just even the hallway, like wait, when did you, this is the one you had on September 9th?
Yeah.
So this would have been like 2 days after the Pisces eclipse. Um, and so I don't know. It's like I feel like what I'm getting with that hallway is like and how narrow it was. It's like for me, I feel like it's that condensing of energy, like you know how everything can kind of like break down into itself. Like if we think about, like people say this often with timelines where like everything's condensing and coming into one.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that, especially as you mentioned before, you know, earlier in the chat, how like the different doors represent like different pathways, so to speak. And like the in between is, you know, obviously traveling. And like that's how I feel about hallways. Like they're the thresholds, you know, and that's generally I know when I'm traveling is because it's not like a hallway of a house or traveling to a door, but it's like I'm traveling down a long, like almost like a tunnel.
Yeah.
And generally it's in space. So that's kind of like the visual I had. And then, just like you being at this glass window and you're looking at the vast like ocean or lake. And it's like there's that glass is feels like there's like a boundary or like a layer of resistance um and traveling into like the deeper depths of say like your emotions or what water could represent for you aside from emotions. And so then of course that's when, and I know this, but just saying in general, that's when like you would in reference to what I just shared, that's when you would think about like what's going on in your waking life for the rest of the context of the dream. And it's like, okay, do I feel like what do I feel resistant to in reference to diving deeper into this, and like what emotions are
Yep.
there? Maybe there's an anticipation of like the depth of the emotion or the vastness of the emotion, and just like, do I really want
Right.
to explore that, or like what is this, what does this even mean? So but it's like I can feel the almost like the peacefulness or the quietness of like being at the window, especially even when you said it wasn't even like your body but it was your essence. So
Right.
it's like physically you're still kind of like detached from it, but it's like your soul, your essence, like wants you to get closer and wants you to like, you know, just yeah. I don't know. That
A
was a
hundred
really big
percent.
dream. Yeah,
A
I really
hundred
like
percent.
that.
I agree with you with that 100%. And I think it's important to note too that the window, it wasn't like a glass pane. Like it was just an open square in the wall.
Oh,
Like, and it
okay.
it
That's
it
even
was the
yeah.
window sized, and
Yeah.
I
So
thought it
you
was
could
really
like if you leaned over, like you could jump out of it
yeah.
basically. Like it
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, it's no glass. Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
I think too,
Yeah.
like when I think about like the fact that I was hiding behind a door, which was across the room from this window, and as I stared at this body of water, it's like I was like I had a disembodied essence that like went out of it and was just there. But there was no movement, and I don't know how, like, this is where the translation from the
Yeah.
dream experience to the waking space can get really tricky, because like I said, the laws of existence don't apply to your dream space. It is,
Yeah.
I can't properly explain how I moved, because I don't know, there's just no, at the moment I don't know how to explain it. But I think that's interesting, the fact that we were meant to hide. So immediately, like running away from whatever these like beings were, we went and hid. And within the aspect, like within the action of hiding, I found peace because I didn't actually feel anxious. So even though when we were all downstairs and the energy changed and everybody else was anxious, I was not. So I felt like that was interesting too, because I feel like when you think of, I feel like it had all of the spices, like all the ingredients to make me anxious, but I wasn't anxious. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important too when it comes to lucid dreaming. Like that's a great example of what it feels like to lucid dream in that aspect, is that you're okay, so you don't really, like, sometimes you can, of course, it's just based on
Yeah, it
experience,
goes
but
from
like
like moment to moment. Yeah.
moment to moment.
You
But
can
that's a
feel
really
it,
good,
but then you can like also like temper that.
you
Like when
can
you
like
feel that fear.
logically
Yeah.
place in your brain that you're okay, and
Hmm.
like, so that whole dream, even though to some people it would have been anxiety driven for multiple reasons, I was just there. And there was, I just, something so interesting about allowing myself to be in that feeling of liminality. It's just,
Mm.
it's, that was a really profound dream for me. But um I was also just really excited because there were aliens in it.
Yeah, I
Like
know. And
there was all
that
the
was really
symbolism and stuff,
that
but
was
I was like,
really like
aliens.
true to the way I have ever personally like felt any energy of like extraterrestrials. It's definitely like more energy first than like what you would expect to see.
Right.
And that's not to say that's not for everyone, but I really resonated with that when you were like they didn't really have like a body, it was more like an energy presence.
Yeah.
Um, because it depends on like the physical or the type of beings also that you're connecting with. Cause some might have like a physical being or a
Mm-hmm.
physical body, so to speak, but a lot of them are like either quasi physical where there's like a hybrid or they're just like, you know, they could be energy. And this is like from what I've learned. So, I
Right.
mean, I'm not saying this is fact, but from my experience, from what I've also learned and how what I heard from other people, that's kind of how it is experienced, especially like you have to like your energy level has to be closer to theirs, which makes sense why it would happen in dreams. Because, you know, sometimes I've heard like if you theoretically like consider if we were to like be like face to face, so to speak, with these extraterrestrials and say, I mean, that's assuming that they're of like a very high frequency, depending on where they come from, as Earth is considered to be a pretty like dense planet. Like we would feel, it's said that we would feel at times like we're dying because it's like it's pulling our spirit body, like it was like that energy was
Right.
pulling like your essence, not to say that you felt like you were dying, but like in the physical body it makes sense that, I don't know, I'm just, maybe I'm rambling, but yeah.
No, no, I like it.
But
I
it,
like going deeper into these things. And it's
yeah,
interesting
it just
too,
made me
because
think that it was just so true to what I know. It resonated, is I'm like, of course it would be pure energy that you would connect with there.
absolutely. And you know, it also brought up, like while you were talking about that, it brought up the idea of, okay, if I'm astral traveling, say through like dimensions, what are like, would aliens be aliens in other dimensions?
Yeah.
Like how does that play out? Like,
Right.
essentially, if I'm traveling, I'm the alien.
Right. Like we all are.
Yes. Yeah. If I'm astral traveling into, say, another dimension or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm the
You're the
alien in
alien
that.
there. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a really good point.
So it's so interesting, and it just like boggles my brain, and it like I could, yeah, I could like linger on that topic for quite some time. So I didn't think that was um rambling much at all. But the other dream, I'm actually just gonna share like a little bit of this dream. I don't feel like I need to share the whole thing. But this dream I had on September 13th, and I was at someone's house. Again, it felt familiar but unfamiliar. None of the people felt familiar except for a few. And I know that I was there on someone else's time. It wasn't my choice. Like, I didn't really want to be there.
Hmm.
So it was breakfast time, and we were in this, again, dining room, and it was very crowded. The other dream, the dining room was clean, like the downstairs was clean. It was the upstairs that was dirty. But in this house, or not dirty, it was cluttered and messy. This
Hmm.
house, the whole house was cluttered, messy, and dirty. And I make that difference because it's important. Um, just like atmospherically. So if I'm in a house that's just cluttered, there's just things out, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's dirty. Whereas like some places you go, you can tell that it's just not been cleaned and they have clutter. And like so there was clothes all over the floor in the last one, but it was pretty clean nonetheless. This one it was like dirt, like just it felt the environment felt gross,
Hmm.
which could have also reflected me feeling uncomfortable being there in general, like it not being my decision. So I was sitting at this dining room table and there was stuff everywhere. It was dirty. There were people, tons of people walking in and out of the house. It was breakfast time. And I was very overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. I know that I was there because someone was trying to like repair and rekindle a relationship with me. And I felt uncomfortable. I felt kind of icky. So I decided to walk outside. And I walked around the side of the house, which was, it was like, it wasn't a trailer home. It was a regular house, but it was on kind of like a trailer-y type um, ground
Mhm.
place area. So the pavement was kind of warped, and it like you would walk down the stairs from the house and you would go down a hill of like the pavement was kind of hilly. So I walk around and there are these kids who are running around and they seem to be playing by what looked like an airstream. So like like a what would you call an airstream?
Like a teeny tiny like RV,
Like a camper,
maybe an
like a
RV, yeah,
RV
like
camper,
a little
right?
teeny tiny camper would be a good way to say
So nobody's watching these kids, and they're
it.
small kids. You know, they're like 3, 4, 5 years old playing outside. And even though there was a ton of people walking in and out of the house, when I was in the house, there was nobody outside except for these kids. And so I'm watching them play, and they pull out a drawer from the side of, like, the outside of the Airstream. They pull out a drawer, and you hear some hissing. And I look over, and there is a snake on, like, within this drawer. And what's interesting about the snake in my dream is that imagine it's on its back, but perched up and looking at you as if it's on its stomach. Like, so, and I drew a little, I don't know if you can see that. I drew a little
Oh, yeah.
of it upside down, but perched
Oh,
up, like
yeah.
it's gonna, like in a protective mode.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at this thing, like, I shooed the kids away and I kind of looked at it further and I observed it for a little bit before I woke up. But I just thought that was such an interesting detail within the dream space
Yeah.
because when a snake is in a protective stance, it's not exposing its belly, a vulnerable aspect of itself. So the fact that it was in this protective stance but exposing the most vulnerable aspects of itself, I mean, that was just that symbolism to me was just
Yeah, I thought
I
that was
loved it.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it. So yeah, that was
Yeah, because
that.
it wasn't like scary, if it kind of flipped the way you perceive it. Because if you see, like, just when I'm like visualizing from your dream, seeing it on its back, you're like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Like, it's almost, you can feel like almost like its helplessness and its vulnerability versus like
Yes.
your reaction if it was, or anyone's reaction if it was just like the way it's normally, laying. Like, if it's, yeah, then you're on guard and you're like, oh shoot.
Right?
So that's like an interesting like shift in perspective and energy in that dream around that snake.
It was definitely incredibly interesting, I have to say. And I feel like, you know, I feel like it could represent an aspect of myself trying to be more like connect deeper with um myself and my inner child. And I feel like it's a reflection of me trying to remember aspects of my childhood to try to reconnect with who I was versus who I am now and kind of, combine and try to like merge
Mhm.
them together, but also experiencing the inevitable remembering of my childhood was difficult emotionally and mentally. So it's like I always had to be in protective mode, but I was always so vulnerable. So it kind of, to me, was almost like a reflection of that. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, my dreams this month definitely have had impact. Not that
Yeah.
they don't before, but
Well, it was eclipse season, so,
it's
well, I
correlating
don't
with the
know at that
eclipse.
point. Yeah, no, because I was on, wait, when did you have that dream? When was
So
that?
those were from the one I just shared was from September 13th.
Okay, yeah, so it was in that window. Yeah, really cool.
Thank you.
So, I actually decided I am going to share one of my dreams because, like I said, a
Yay.
lot of my dreams were kind of incomplete, but this one was actually complete, and it was the UFO. I don't know if I told you about this one. I didn't remember a lot of, or I didn't write a lot of the details, but I think that's fine. That's totally fine. Like I have something here. So, um, is it cool if I share? Is that fine?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you still wanted to add some things about yours, and I was like, oh shoot, I just like
No, no.
inserted it.
I've completed what I needed to do. Go ham.
Okay, so I'm a little blurry here. So I'm gonna share with you. Hopefully, you guys can see it on the screen. But the UFOs, I have these two pictures of UFOs that I love, and um they popped up on Pinterest recently, I would say within the last couple months. And it was like, I don't know what triggered my memory, but about UFOs and like me having my own UFO. But years ago, I was doing guided meditations, or I was learning about like meditation, and more so focused on like deep trance meditation and astral travel. And so my teacher at the time recommended us to just like meditate and like visualize or see what comes forth. Like, don't even really overthink it, but just see as far as like what you're calling your safe space, and just see what is presented to you. And then we were encouraged to, um when we're ready, after a couple minutes of like sitting with that image and everything, to come out of the image or come out of the meditation and then draw what we wrote, just
Mhm.
like automatically channeling that, out and drawing. And I can't find the drawing. I know I have it somewhere. Like I have a ton of notebooks. I'm still planning to go through those. But anyways, I was so shocked that mine was a UFO. Like I didn't, I mean, it makes sense, but I would think it would have been, I don't know, like, but it was a UFO. So these pictures, I don't know if I can get it to come up. I don't know. Can you?
It's a little bright. Maybe
It's a
pull it
little
back a little.
bright. Yeah. Hold
Oh,
on. Let me see. I'm just gonna, I'll share my screen real quick because I have it
yeah,
in
do
my
that.
notes, like in my dream diary here. So, all right, I'm gonna pull it up. All right. Here's one of them. Do you see that? Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
very vibrant and like pink. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it.
And then there's another one I'll show you guys. But I had to add these to like the dream diary because I was just like, I have to have a visual with it. Let's see.
Absolutely.
And then here's another one. It just
Oh,
like the
I
energy.
love
I was like,
that.
oh my gosh. So I had to add those after I had this dream because it popped up, and it was not, obviously not these exactly, but very similar. It made me think of these. So this stream I had on August 30th, 2025. So we weren't in eclipse season yet, but getting close. So I had an ET ship. It was a pink frosty soft color with gems. It was my safe space or safe place. I flew it a couple places. Malachi and Sidori were with me, and we flew the ship to my mother's house. It was actually more like teleportation. We were in the ship and boot at my mother's house, like in a blink of an eye. At my mother's house, I was upstairs, and in her room, she had this beautiful matching furniture. The woodwork had a nice design. It was off white. There was a matching wardrobe that had mirrors intricately placed within the design of the wood. I noticed that she had these old magazines and books. They were an ancient Egyptian series, like National Geographic vibe. She also had some other objects that were ancient, like those are mine, I thought, but I didn't take them. I was going to talk to her about it first. Then I checked out my room, and it had my old furniture from high school, the sleigh bed, but the woodwork was like hers with the intricate mirror placement. So I remember like on the back of the headboard was like, it was mirror, but it was like wood, but there was a mirror behind it. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like, so
Yeah,
it was like carved floral design, but
like
a
a
mirror behind
vanity,
it.
like where the
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
literally have pictures. I'll just show you guys. I had to find something, the closest thing I could find on Pinterest. So, and these are actually actual furniture. So, but then think that it had like just envision mirrors being behind it. So let me share. So it's kind of like this, but
Oh,
instead
that's
of it being solid wood,
beautiful.
it was like mirrors like within
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And so my mom had that in her room, and like she had the wardrobe like that, and then I had like that same design on my bed, and it literally looked like my high school bed, but it was like I didn't have like the carvings and stuff. It was just solid
Right.
wood.
Could you
um
see yourself in the reflection of the mirror? Did you see anything?
I don't remember seeing anything. I remember like looking at it, and Malachi was in the room with me and I was talking about it, but like now the dream is starting to come to me. That's all I wrote of the dream. So um but yeah, I thought it was really interesting in the dream. That's kind of what stood out for me, and it what stood out to me. And so it was like having the ship in the beginning and then traveling with that. And then I end up at my mom's house, which was very similar to my childhood home, the one I sent you a picture of, like when I was back home
Mm-hmm.
recently, that I drove by. And so I don't know, but it was interesting. She had these ancient Egyptian, like National Geographic type magazines. But that really made me, while I was in my mom's room, it made me think of my grandmother, because like my grandmother had stuff like that. And she's the one who turned me on to National Geographic and like all of these other, kind of like ancient civilization like things, paraphernalia and stuff like that. So that's what stood out to me in the dream. I don't remember much of what else was happening, but yeah, that was that. So I
I
don't even
love
know how to
that.
interpret it, but
I love that.
it
I
was all a
love the
feeling.
aspect of your ship. I love that it was your safe place. That
Mm-hmm.
to me was really important. Um, and I noticed, so to me, this immediately feels like a heightened version of what a car symbolizes in the dream space.
Mm.
Like your path, like where you are in
Mm.
your path and how you're traveling. So it's interesting too because when you have dreams about cars, it doesn't feel like you're as in control as
Mm-hmm.
when you have a dream about a ship, which feels more authentic to your travel, like what you're traveling with. So that was a really interesting aspect to me. And to me, that feels like a glimpse of like almost like validation that you're on the right path and you're in control. And like the
Mm-hmm.
things that make you feel good are coming through. But it
Yeah.
also makes me like think about you kind of going and connecting with your inner child in a way. I mean, especially with like the correlations of maybe not inner child, but inner like teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So like the oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? The parallels of like you being at your home, it being like what you experienced as a teenager, but more heightened, more along the lines of what you like, more along the lines of like what feels right for you. And then the energy of like your grandmother being there despite it being your mother's place, like your grandmother's coming through and you're seeing these things that mean a lot to you, like things that cover things like ancient Egypt, and like immediately being like, oh, this is mine, like I have to go talk to my mom
Right?
first to make
It's
sure
like I'm gonna be taking this stuff.
it's
Thanks.
mine. And I almost feel like this is kind of bringing you back a little bit to those journals
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Like it's a little hint. It's not like a huge hint, but I almost feel like that dream to me felt kind of like a travel. Like not just in
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
the sense that you were traveling in the dream, but it felt like a travel. And I
Right.
also
Like
find
almost
it
like,
sorry,
oh,
go ahead.
go ahead. You go.
Okay, I was just going to say I really also feel like the aspect of having mirrors in your dream but not seeing a reflection, not know, like there nothing really being on the other side of that like when you're looking at yourself is very interesting as well.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
don't
like
know if
the
it could be like you're not there yet. Like
mhm.
you are on the right path and you're like you are seeing kind of like rewards at the end, but you're not quite there yet. I feel like this whole dream, as fun as it was, it had so much symbolism tied
Mhm.
into it.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I love what you said as far as like the ship being almost like my new car, because that's
Yeah.
pretty much my dominant symbol, dream symbol, at least like at this point in my dream journey. Um, and I've had so many aha moments and so much guidance through cars in my dreams. And so when you mentioned the ship being like similar, that energy, but more me,
Mm-hmm.
that just like, oh my gosh, you have no idea like what you just unlocked there. And it just and that it kind of goes in line with what I was experiencing for like during eclipse season, because the whole like the eclipse season, literally the day before the eclipse, my car in waking life broke down.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have kept going. Like when we finally got it towed to the auto body shop, it was going to cost $1,000 to repair. And like, it definitely wasn't worth it. It was, yeah, we put a lot of money into it. It was just, we were done. We were done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we sold it to the mechanic and he was like, oh, I'm going to fix it up and I'm going to give it to like a friend's daughter, basically. Because he was like, oh, we put our kids in beater cars, they're not getting anything else,
100%.
right? So I was like, oh, that made me really happy, because I was like, oh, she's still running, like she can still do her thing, because it was a 2006 Toyota Scion, right? So Toyotas are excellent cars. Like the engine was
Yeah.
great, the engine was fine, but it was just like it was a beater. um and so at this point, like where I am, like tomorrow, I'm literally picking up my new car. And the way the whole journey was experienced and like the support I've had and how like it's mine, like it's a new car,
Mm-hmm.
or not new, it's 2019, but I'm saying as far
New
as like I
enough.
don't finance cars, right? So I generally pay cash for cars, and I'm like, if I have a car, because I've gone a long period also without having a car when I lived in
Right.
DC. So like it's a really big deal. And so it's really interesting that I had this dream at the beginning of the lunar cycle, with this new ship. And now I'm getting a new car. And along with that, it's not just about the car, but everything that happened since that Pisces eclipse has like so many big things have shifted. And I really feel like finally, oh my goodness, like I feel that I'm coming into who I'm truly meant to be, like who I am. And it's, while it can seem kind of superficial, to have it like tied around a car, it's so much deeper than that. Like I literally was named after a car. And the reason I was named after a car was because like my mom really wanted the car. So like I was that for her. It was
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. But it came out for me as like not having control over my life, and my mom really wanting to take the reins. And that's been our dynamic, and a lot has shifted since the eclipse as well with her and I. And so again, by you saying that the UFO is like my new car, like I cannot wait to go deep with that, because I'm like, yes. And
It's
I'm
true
like,
though. I mean, it really is. And I
yes.
really want to highlight like the differences with the cars and the dreams versus like this UFO. Like I feel like the way you're able to have full control over it, and I don't know, it just there's something strong and like powerful about that. And a car is not superficial. A car is incredibly important and really represents freedom
It
and the
does.
ability to move around where you need to be. Like if I didn't have a car, I would not be able to get to work.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it
true.
is so important to some people. Like, I don't want to say everyone, because like if you live in a place where you have like the metro, you have like it's an easy way to, you can
Mhm.
walk like, I don't know, 3 miles or whatever, like to get from one area to the other. It'll take a long time, but like my travel to work is highways. I can't
Yeah.
walk on, I
Yeah.
will not walk on a highway.
Oh,
I'm
hell
sorry.
no.
I
No.
that is a call for playing with death. And I don't trust people enough. I barely trust
Oh,
people when I'm
yeah.
driving, let
Right?
alone when I'm walking. If I'm driving, I'm in a safe fish space. If someone
You have
hits
some
me,
control. Like you do have
yes.
some control.
If you're hit, just bare humany, like
Yeah.
nothing protecting you, you may not die,
Good
but
point.
you could have life altering injuries that take away your freedoms. So,
That's
like,
true.
it's not superficial, it is huge. And I just, this whole dream was so, I feel like, just powerful, and you can feel the dynamic shift. And I'm excited to see how that continues. I'm excited to see if you have more dreams where you have regular cars, or if like you'll have more of a consistency now of being in this UFO.
I don't know. I'm calling in the UFO for sure. I'm like, I feel that so strongly. Like I was really excited and moved by the dream. And I'm so glad that I shared it, with you. Cause so I shared the second dream that I'm not gonna like share because it's a little bit longer and I already got what I needed out of that. But the following dream there, the UFO was there too. So I'm gonna go back and like think about that dream and reflect on it. But I'm really happy that I shared it. And it really resonates with what's coming up for me right now because I've been thinking about the whole concept around star seeds. Like with the new work I'm doing, we kind of went over, or the instructors basically went over like their perspective of star seeds, and people that resonate with that. And basically it's people that have always felt like an outcast, here, in their lives. They're very emotional, very empathic, very sensitive, misunderstood a lot of the times. Like their family doesn't understand them. They feel that there's also like a deeper sense of purpose, and it's just almost like you are looking for your tribe, or you're like, your family's out there,
Right.
but it's like, I don't know, like you get what I'm saying, because I know you probably
Absolutely.
resonate with that too. And so I've been feeling more and more of that. And just, like even when I think about family and certain events that have happened recently, it's like while my mom, is beginning to come around a bit, like I have other family members that are coming out of the woodwork, like just questioning my choices and what I'm doing, like I'm a bum or I'm not doing anything, or just like basically the way I perceive it is like, why don't you just fall in line and just do what you have to do? And I'm like, I actually am doing what I have to do. And that's like following my truth, my path. And so this star seed connection, or just like that feeling, um, and a lot of the times, like with the things going on in the world, I'm just like, this shit sucks. Like, what the,
Mm-hmm.
like, I just like, and I don't know. I don't even need to go there, but basically it all resonates. And like that UFO being my safe space specifically is something I'm really curious about now, even in this moment, because I'm like, like you really can't make this stuff up.
No.
So I'm definitely gonna invite more dreams in around that and see what happens. And I'll definitely be sharing it with you all. So that was a profound, insight that you just shared there.
There's
So that just made my day.
I'm so glad. There's one aspect that I want to share too, that that just came up to my head like while you were talking about that. I've noticed that in many of your dreams there is a central theme of pink. You know, whether it's the sky or like this
Mm,
UFO or
yeah.
things like that. And I want to say that I feel like you have a lot of love and
Mm.
compassion and, like, I don't know, just this overwhelmingly supportive energy within your dream space that I feel like is coming from yourself. Like, I feel
I
like
like
there's
that.
this
Yeah.
aspect of like self-love and self-care and compassion that like comes through within your dream space. I don't
Mhm.
know if you feel that, but like that's kind of the energy that I pull, especially with a dream like this, where like
Yeah.
it's prevalent.
Yeah, no, that definitely. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about some starseed stuff now, and that just kind of unlocked for me too. Yeah, no, like with the unconditional love and like even the color pink and yeah, which is funny because I'm not a pink girl, but like that softness in the dream, like that softness is something that I have been like leaning into lately. And Sidori, my 5-year old, that's her favorite color, like pink
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it's funny, it's like reflected in her. And I didn't push that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's a girl, like whatever, but I try to put her in everything else. Like when she was an
Yeah.
infant, I was like, oh my God, where can I get black onesies? Because they don't have black clothes for babies. And so any little thing I could find that was black, like I would get some stuff online. So she would have like black onesies or like little hoodies. But no, she's a pink girl. So it's really interesting. I'm gonna tune into that with her too.
Well,
So
you even bringing that up makes me think that it could be an aspect of her showing up as well.
yeah. And like
You
my inner
know?
child too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love see, we can go on forever talking
Yay. Oh
about
my
these dreams.
gosh. That was really good. See, okay, so listeners, please share your dreams because we would love to do this with you, and definitely please join us in the dream circles because, we can definitely dive in deep with it. So, Alexis is shuffling, so I'm going to do this as well. We're going to see what messages are here for us for this current lunar cycle of Virgo, round 2. Virgo's got to make sure we do it right. Keep us in line here.
My card jumped out.
Oh, cool. What'd you get?
Oh, I was like, I wasn't sure if we were gonna wait. Okay, so this is the 13th card in the deck, and it's called Impermanence. And I don't know if you can see.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, it's got like even though it's not like it's the moon, but I'm seeing an owl like in the bottom.
Yes, I love
Is that
that.
intentional or is that just or is that on all the I don't
It's not
know.
on. So I just picked up the next one, which is Lotus.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Hmm.
Hmm. Maybe I'll read both of them. um. So I'll just read the first one. So the card is number 13. It's Impermanence. Time is pressure. I mean, precious pressure. There's my subconscious coming through.
Time is pressure.
Okay. Impermanence. Nothing blooms all year round. Treasure fleeting moments and recognize the preciousness of time. Understand that nothing lasts forever, and that is exactly the reason why it is all so beautiful. Appreciating impermanence gives you a greater admiration of each moment in time. You are ever changing and ever evolving. You will never be at this point in time again. This moment is precious, even holy. Ask yourself, where in my life am I too attached to things remaining the same? Oh, sorry, I just that question hit me pretty hard.
Yeah,
Where
yeah, we
in
need
my
to write
life,
that question down.
yes, where in my life am I too attached to things remaining the same way? Is this attachment inhibiting my growth? And the answer is yes. It's
Oh, I'm writing
absolutely
that down.
inhibiting my growth. And like when I
Ugh,
think the first thing that came to mind
yes.
when I pulled this impermanence, nothing when I started reading it, it said nothing blooms all year round. It immediately made me think of dreaming and how we talked earlier in the podcast episode about how dreaming is cyclical. You're never like you're not don't expect perfection. Don't expect you to always remember every single dream. Don't expect yourself to always remember, the experience after it happened. You might remember the dream, you might not remember the experience that well. You know, consistency isn't always like you're not always able to be consistent, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um but I just love this. I think it's a great reminder to appreciate just where you are right now, how far you've come, all of the challenges and tribulations you've faced, all of the good moments, and everything in your existence that led you to this point right now. And I just think that's so beautiful because it makes me think of the fact that we just had our 1 year anniversary. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a state of contemplation because of that, because I'm not very good with consistency. And the fact that like we
Oh,
have shown
yeah.
up, like you're good at consistency, but I'm not. And the
Yeah.
fact that we've shown up every week for a year and just talked our hearts out about something that we're so passionate about, it
Mm-hmm.
brings me such joy and pride. I know that's probably not, I don't know, but pride because
Yeah, you're proud. Yeah.
I'm proud of this. Our conversations mean so much to me, and I just love this. So, you know, I don't know, the this card to me is really a really hard hitter.
Well, I really enjoy like the key word or the main word, impermanence. That is
Yeah.
such in a way a Virgo word, as you know, when you consider Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, they're considered to be the mutable signs. So they
Hmm.
are fluid and, adaptable,
Yep.
and so inflexible, all of those words, right? And so impermanence, that is something that we're really learning through Virgo.
Absolutely.
And also when I think about impermanence too, what's coming through is that just knowing that we are like spirit, we're always changing form, we're always transforming, we're always changing, and we are spirit. There's no like permanent death or permanent pain or any of
Hmm.
that, right? Everything's always changing and flowing. And so I really like that reminder of change, and it feels like letting go too.
Right.
Which I see Virgo's definitely helping us with this at the moment, where it's like, okay, like we're really cutting deep, we're cutting the cords here, we're letting these things go. So that
Absolutely.
was so on point.
Not only that, but it makes me think we just entered into autumn, and autumn is the time of
Hmm.
death and dying.
Yeah.
Death and dying is inevitable, and it's a reminder that, everything's impermanent.
Yeah.
And, just appreciating where we are and who we are. I love this. I love this. It also makes me think of the fact that of endings. We just ended the season. We just ended the season, and now we're beginning anew. And so what do you need to bring with you? And what
Mm-hmm.
do you need to leave behind?
Yeah, clear the clutter. I'm still doing that in my home
Same.
and everything. It's just like, oh my gosh, yeah. It's clearing things out. That's really important. Especially as now we're coming back in. So we're coming back into ourselves. We're going to be resting more, hopefully. And it's going to be cold, getting cooler. And so we're going to naturally, be in the house,
I'm
right?
so
Getting
excited.
darker earlier. So it's like we got to clean the clutter because we're going to be sitting with a lot.
A
So
hundred
like start
percent.
the process now so you're not overwhelmed.
Yes.
So the card that I received, I decided to go with the OG tarot deck. And I received for us the Three
Oh.
of Wands, which definitely, we're clearing the clutter and we are making space for whatever this grand horizon is, whatever's on the other side there. And it's just, it, I feel like we're at the doorway, like as you were mentioning, Alexis, like we're there and we're just kind of taking a view, taking in the perspective um of this horizon. And I love, the number three, of course, is creative. The way the wands are positioned to me is kind of like in the form of a triangle in some ways, and so
Mm-hmm.
just hinting to that creative energy. So there's an invitation of like, what do you want to make of this? What do you see in that greater horizon. And especially as we know, like just bringing in the impermanence energy where we know that things are always changing. And so with this in mind, like here's an opportunity to make a great change, a bigger change that is opening up, you know, this greater perspective or this like journey that you are going to embark on soon. And so I'm going to just share like a few keywords here of the Three of Wands. So we have exploring the unknown, seeking out uncharted areas, going in a quest of a new adventure, expand a horizon, having foresight, being a visionary, taking the long view, planning ahead, demonstrating leadership, so providing new direction, taking the main role, serving as a representative or setting an example. Um, yeah, so the Three of Wands can tell you to take the long view, don't react to the heat of the moment, but step back and reconsider. See how the present fits into the greater picture. This card asks you to be a visionary, to dream beyond current limitations. It can indicate premonitions or other intuitions about what is to come.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that we both had three. Like my card was 13, your card was three. I
Yeah,
just
I was
love
thinking about that when you
I
said it.
love that. I love that so much. But yeah, I just feel like, the season changed. We closed one door. We're in the threshold of the new um of this new path, this new season, this new experience. And, you know, take with that the energy of like, okay, where am I? What do I want? How do I get there? Like, what am I focusing on right now? And how is it going to help me down the line?
Yeah.
So like, well, I think we said it on the last episode, but if you guys didn't know, this episode is the last episode of our first season.
Yeah.
And
Oh
next
my God.
week, when we start, next week when we do our episode, it's going to be the first episode of our new season, of season 2. And, since we're heading into this new season, both you and I have just these ideas coming through of how we want to go about it, what we want to do, and how it's going to like lead us where we want to be for this next year.
Yeah.
And just things are just popping up and it's exciting. Now, that being said, I need to ground we like you have a better easier time with grounding the ideas than I
Oh,
do.
okay. I was like, wait, do I
No, no, no,
the
you do.
ground
You
before
do.
this?
I feel like your Capricorn moon, you have a little bit of an easier time like grabbing
Yeah.
those ideas and planting them down, where like I will have ideas and they just keep coming in and I can't grasp them and I don't put them in the ground. So that's something that I definitely will
Yeah,
be working
we're
on.
gonna be good. We'll be
But
good.
I'm so excited. I'm so
Yes, I'm so
excited.
excited.
There's so
This is
much
gonna be great.
creativity, excitement, and potential to what this new season's going to bring, and I love it. I love the energy coming through. I'm feeling so good.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Shout out to Susanna. She says, thank you for sharing. Super excited to have caught this. You both rock. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
so much.
here. Yeah, so thank you everyone for listening. Please like this video and follow us on Spotify if you're enjoying our conversation, or subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. I'm really excited about the topics, the guests that we're going to have on for this new season. I'm excited to step into this new intention, and I just love that the new season essentially is starting with autumn, which is our favorite. So
Yep.
it's working out so perfectly. So thanks everyone. We will be talking with you next week, and sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.